Coming up, the trial on Derek Chauvin is beginning to come to a close, and the New England state is removing their mask mandates. Welcome to WEBN News. I'm Ezekiel Telemaco, and we begin with tonight's top stories. George Floyd's defense rested their case after weeks of trial. This comes after Derek Chauvin pled the Fifth in deciding not to testify before the court today. If Chauvin had testified, it would have been the first time the former Minneapolis police officer told his side of the story. Chauvin is being charged with second-degree and third-degree murder, as well as second-degree manslaughter. The prosecution called multiple witnesses in the past few weeks, including several experts. Judge Peter Cahill warned jurors that deliberation could drag on, saying, quote, "Plan for a long, hope short for a short closing." Arguments will begin next Monday before the jury comes to a decision. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu says that the state will be lifting its man mandate tomorrow, with no plans to renew it.
Tomorrow, New Hampshire will not renew the state's mask mandate.
Towns, cities, and businesses within New Hampshire are allowed to still enforce a mask rule under their discretion. Sununu will urge citizens to wear their masks out in the public. Quote, "The pandemic is not over, and we are still not claiming any victory by any means." The executive decision was to end the mandate by examining recent case numbers, hospital data, as well as vaccination rates. New Hampshire State Representative Tom Sherman has examined similar data but disagrees with the removing of the mask mandate. Sherman is calling the governor's decision, quote, "unnecessarily and potentially devastating." The Boston Police Department is facing backlash for information surfacing about a former officer. Patrick Rose Sr. was charged last August for molesting multiple children. He also faced similar allegations in the mid-90s and faced no disciplinary actions. Boston Mayor Kim Janey is now ordering the release of closed files on Rose. Rose is still in prison and cannot afford to pay for bail. He's facing 33 total charges involving 6 alleged victims. A Massachusetts resident is helping people volunteer at vaccination clinics nationwide. Sharon Leslie created a website called vaxvolunteers.org. Leslie says that the medical community itself cannot handle everything. The website is designed to connect traffic controllers, greeters, and vaccinators to locations around the country. Anyone who is 18 or older can register through vaxvolunteers.org by creating an account and picking a location that's closest to them. I know I was just getting used to this warm weather in Boston recently, but it seems like we might have some showers in April. Amrit Panu joins us for the 5-day forecast.
Thanks, Ezekiel. I recommend carrying an umbrella and dressing warmly because a nor'easter will be coming in for the next few days. Friday is going to be rainy with chances of snow later in the day. It'll be a high of 45 and a chilly low of 38. Saturday is looking mostly cloudy with some rain. Expect a high of 49 and a low of 40. Another chance of rain on Sunday with a high at 52 and a low at 42. That rainy weather is going to stick around on Monday with a high of 60 and a low around 44. The storm should clear out for Tuesday though, which will be mostly sunny with a much warmer high of 66 and a low of 48. It's nice to see those warmer temperatures, especially after that slight drop during the weekend. That's all for the weather. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Amrit. A new poll shows Boston voters in favor of Mayor Kim Janey and Councilor Michelle Wu for this upcoming mayoral election. 19% said that they would vote for Wu and 18% said that they would vote for Janey. But there's still hope for other candidates. 6% chose Councilor Anissa Asabi George and 4% voted for Councilor Andrea Campbell. Former Economic Development Chief John Barros was at the bottom, only receiving 3% of the votes. However, 46% of participants said that the poll, they were unsure of who they would choose for the mayoral election. The election will be in November, so there's still plenty of time to make a decision. A local community here in Boston is coming together to combat the impacts of COVID-19. Megan Kaser visited Chinatown Main Street to learn more about how they're fighting food insecurity.
Come on over, stretch all the way over here, stretch, come on.
Hundreds of people form a line outside of St. James the Greater Church. They wait in the cold twice a month to receive a bag of fresh fruits, vegetables, and bread. Each bag costs only $2 and offers 10 pounds of healthy produce. The COVID-19 pandemic greatly impacted the Chinatown community. This inspired Chinatown Main Street's executive director, Debbie Ho, to take action.
Today we've been able to feed up to 2,000 people, 2,000 families.
General Electric employees and local high school students volunteer at this event. Debbie Ho explained how this collaboration between Chinatown Main Street and Fair Foods formed.
They wanted to see if Chinatown Main Street, had the capability of maybe starting this program here in Chinatown. And then when I met the CEO of Fair Foods, I said, absolutely, we're bringing it into Chinatown.
This program started last October. The pastor of St. James the Greater is glad the church hosts this food distribution event.
Chinatown Main Street, they reached out to me and looking for a place where it's more convenient to distribute food to the local people. And after I heard the news, and I was just thinking it's so wonderful opportunity for us.
The Chinatown Main Street Fair Foods program hosts another event later this month. It takes place on March 27th from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m.
Thanks, Megan. When we come back, which vaccine has paused distribution in the U.S. and the increase on minimum wage?
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back. The U.S. is pausing the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine after 6 women developed rare blood clots and 1 woman died. The women are between the ages 13 and 48. The blood clots began for each patient 2 weeks after receiving the shot. Despite the Johnson & Johnson vaccine being put on pause, Governor Baker believes that the rollout plan will be fine. So far, 4.6 million people in Massachusetts have received at least 1 dose. When Biden took over in office in January, he promised to raise the minimum wage. He was unable to achieve this goal, but there are 2 senators who are reviving the cause. Anthony LaBruto has more on the story.
Thanks, Ezekiel. Republican Senator Mitt Romney and Democratic Senator Kristen Sinema are reportedly working on a bipartisan minimum wage increase. This comes after the proposed $15 increase was excluded from the American Rescue Plan in March. Romney told reporters that the proposal will be brought to a bipartisan group of 20 senators before potentially coming to a floor vote. Moderate Democratic Senator Joe Manchin hinted to reporters that a compromise of $11 might be the magic number. Romney told reporters on Wednesday that a compromise had been reached between him and Sinema, but more senators will be included in the discussion. That's all I have for politics. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Anthony. The police officer who fatally shot Dante Wright in Minnesota is now being charged with manslaughter. Officer Kim Potter resigned after shooting Wright during a traffic stop. Former Brooklyn Center Police Chief Tim Gannon says that the shooting was by mistake. Every night since Sunday, between 100 and 200 people have marched towards the police department to protest. Some threw rocks and other objects were thrown. Reports of gunshots were also reported. Officers fired rubber bullets and tear gas in the crowd. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz sent the National Guard, and Mayor Mike Elliott has a curfew set in place.
These 2 are hurting. Our family is hurting. Our blood has been spilled. And all we ask for is to please just keep getting his name out there. And please help us to go ahead and get something done, a conviction, something.
After 20 years in the Middle East, Joe Biden has announced that troops will be returning home from Iraq. Riley LeCon is here to tell us more.
Thank you, Ezekiel. Yesterday, President Biden has announced his decision to end America's longest war. After 20 years of unresolved conflict in Afghanistan, Biden said, quote, "It is time for American troops to come home," end quote. He plans to withdraw U.S. troops before the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Biden has concluded that no amount of time or money can solve the problems that his 3 predecessors have tried to fix. The war has killed about 2,300 U.S. soldiers and cost more than $2 trillion. Although American diplomatic and humanitarian efforts will continue in Afghanistan, the U.S. troops will begin withdrawing on May 1st. President Biden seems very firm on his decision, but he's ensuring Americans that the safety of the U.S. troops will be his #1 priority. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Riley. After the break, shocking news from New England Patriots and a landmark announcement from former Bachelor. Don't go anywhere.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Welcome back. There have recently been an increase in hate crimes against Asian Americans. We go to our reporter Wenjing Ding.
Now to the race and attacks against Asian American across this country. Hate crimes against Asian American in major cities surged by nearly 150%. Boston area protests organized a few rallies in the Boston Common and Harvard Square to stop Asian hate after violent attacks.
Recently, a series of Stop Asian Hate rallies were held in the Boston area. More than hundreds of people turned out. A white female student from Harvard University took to participate in the rally and show her support.
To our Asian and Asian American friends, we appreciate you, we stand with you, and we will fight for you.
Protesters emphasized that Asian Americans have been experiencing racism since long before the pandemic. Many described a lifetime of racial slurs, being fetishized of the subject of bigoted jokes, feeling ostracized or otherwise targeted for the race. The local Asian American community and its allies are calling for people to educate themselves and eliminate hatred. Most Americans admitted that they knew nothing about the degree of paranoia faced by the Asian American until it became part of the war's attention. An African American student from MIT also gave the Asian community strong support.
To my Asian brothers and sisters, I want you to know we stand with you. Black families support you.
The racism event also inspired a 14-year-old high school student from Lexington to write a song, "We Are Proud to Be Asian." This rally, organized by the New England Chinese American Alliance, New Moon International Media, and more than 16 Asian American civic associations, and groups from around this day called on local schools incorporate Asian American history and culture into K-12 curriculum, and create a climate that promotes equality and unity for all.
I'm Wenjing Ding from WEBN News. Back to you.
Thanks, Wenjing. After a year, the Olympics are back on in Tokyo. Sydney Cohen is here to tell us how they're preparing for the big event.
The Tokyo Olympics will take place in just 99 days after being postponed for a year. Although fans and athletes are ready to compete in the Games, they will be looking a little different because of the pandemic. Japan has just a fraction of deaths compared to the United States, but only 1% of the country's population has received the first dose of the COVID vaccine. Japan did not offer the vaccine to senior citizens, which makes up about 29% of their population. This means that the general population likely won't get vaccinated until this summer. After spending over $15.4 billion to organize the event, the International Olympic Committee will be organizing more safety protocols as the Games approach. Three-time Super Bowl champion and one of Boston's most cherished Patriots player, Julian Edelman, is retiring. Edelman announced on Monday that he is ending his 12-year career in the NFL. What's more shocking is that hours before his retirement, the Patriots decided to cut him from the team. He failed his physical due to a knee injury from the previous season. However, there is no bad blood between them. The chairman and CEO of the team explained that Edelman is one of the greatest success stories in NFL history, as he has played a position he had never played before. Patriots fans wish Edelman a farewell as he is on to a new life after football. On May 15th, Michael Jordan will induct the late Kobe Bryant into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Bryant was announced as a finalist into the Hall of Fame weeks before he, his daughter, and 7 others died in a fatal helicopter crash in California just last year. Jordan was chosen to induct Bryant after Kobe said he wanted Jordan or Phil Jackson to do him the honor. Bryant said, quote, "They've been the greatest mentors, not in my career as an athlete, but also as a person." This ceremony was initially set for last year, but was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. Bachelor Nation is never without drama. Carly Bronkema is here to tell us the latest.
Well, Ezekiel, Colton Underwood is once again shaking up Bachelor Nation. He came out as gay in an exclusive interview with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America. Underwood first appeared on Becca Kufrin's season of The Bachelorette in 2018. He made it to the final 4 before she sent him home. He then appeared on Bachelor in Paradise, where he coupled up with Tia Booth. After Paradise, Colton was named The Bachelor in 2019. Some highlights from his season included him jumping a fence to escape camera crews and the frequent discussions of his virginity. Underwood was one of few people in Bachelor Nation to leave their season without a fiancé. He did date contestant Cassie Randolph, but their relationship ended with her filing a restraining order against him. She accused him of putting a tracking device on her car and threatening her. In the interview, Colton apologized for any pain or emotional stress he caused the women on his season or those he has been in a relationship with. Underwood cited his Catholic upbringing as a key reason he was so afraid to accept his sexuality. Demi Burnett, the only other member of Bachelor Nation to identify as LGBTQ, was a contestant on Colton's season. With this announcement, maybe we'll see a more inclusive version of The Bachelor or Bachelorette coming to TV. That's all from me. Back to you.
Thanks, Carly. A Massachusetts woman is reunited with her dog after it went missing for 5 years. Renee Perry of Framingham said that her dog Benji went missing after she left it at her dog sitter's house in 2016. 5 years later, the dog was found in Needham, 10 miles away from the home. Perry said that she didn't believe it at first. She reunited with Benji through a volunteer from Missing Dogs Massachusetts, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to reuniting dogs with their lost owners. Perry has already taken Benji back to the vet for a checkup. Thank you for tuning in to WEBN News. For more, visit our website at WEBN.TV and check us out on YouTube. I'm Ezekiel Telemaka, and have a good night.